in the wild. I live with dudes, haven't been to church in a while. I've chosen this lifestyle. You ever met my friends? Porn stars, dope dealers. They like, why you chill with them? I thought you was a Christian. Yeah, I'm on that team, but I'm with them cause my life's the only Bible that they've ever seen. So wanna be an earshot from the church bell. I wanna win souls near gunshots in the worst hell. Telling them Christ became a curse for their sin. With my words and my works, they won't come in. I'm bringing church to them. Yeah, that's why I live where I live. They say you acting crazy, that ain't no place to raise your kids. But if we ain't living it, who else gonna show 'em what a family's supposed to look like instead of them broken homes? Gotta be living stones around where they getting stoned. Live to know him, die to make him known till he take us home. Let's go. I wanna go where the wild things are. Yeah. I wanna go where the wild things are. I wanna go where the wild things are. I'm talking lions, tigers, bears, alright. Lions, tigers, bears, alright. Lions, tigers, bears, alright. You scared? Christ died for this terrible heart. That's why I wanna be where the wild things are. If you catch me in a bar where the wild things are, with my pastor and the entourage who loves God, please don't think that it's odd. We kick it round broken hearts, fishing for men, surrounded by sin, but ain't taking part. I talk about Jesus, all the Christians love me. I walk like Jesus, now they wanna judge me, ain't it funny? I'm ducking stones thrown from the Pharisees. Gospel of peace upon my feet like a paraclete. Walking with the paraclete that's Greek for the spirit. They say the wild things that eat you up. Who shall I fear when God is walking with me? If I die, that's a win. That's the seed of the church. Plus I get to be with him. And we so undefeated. Like Hanes made our sneakers. I had beef with Jesus, then my sinner got deleted. So I gotta go and speak it to those who really need it. Let the gospel off the leash. Go and be where the beast at. I wanna go where the wild things are. I wanna go where the wild things are. I wanna go where the wild things are. I'm talking lions, tigers, bears, alright. Lions, tigers, bears, alright. Lions, tigers, bears, alright. Christ died for the terrible heart. That's why I wanna be where the wild things are. Where the wild things are. Where the wild things are. Christ died for the terrible heart. That's why I wanna be where the wild things are. You can be anything that you want in America.
Look, I'm still in America. Beautiful, elegant, sinful, and arrogant. It's plenty hysteria after they shot at them schools in that new cafeteria. Don't sneak in our area, cause if you ain't patriotic, you might be a terrorist. I know it's embarrassing. We say united, we stand, but divisions are therapy. No GED, no EBT, just BBL.
I look good, dog.
That CDC say quarantine, my PPP
I
say.
need my check.
Look at your race, what they gon' say? Stay in your place. Made a mistake, open the case, open the gates. Yeah, go ahead and pray for that visa. See how America treats you. We keep our history shrouded in mystery. Can't let them know all our secrets. Men become ladies. Ladies want more than some babies. They wanna be treated like people. Land of the free, but the freedom ain't equal. We love our politics more than our people. Monday we evil, but Friday we good. New Lululemon right.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another live stream. My name is Tyler Ramsby. I am your host, and I'm super excited to have you here. Hey, right at the outset, I want to let you know that I'm live right now on 3 different platforms. You can join on whichever platform works best for you, but I am live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch. On YouTube and LinkedIn, I just stream under my name, Tyler Ramsby, and over on Twitch, I stream under the name Hack_Smarter. So YouTube and LinkedIn is Tyler Ramsby, Twitch, it is Hack Smarter, but what is up? Good to have you here. Today, we're going to begin with a little bit of AMA. So if you guys have any questions about cybersecurity, pen testing, hacking, life in general, happy to answer those. And then we are going to dive into some hacking, which, by the way, if you don't know who I am the founder of two companies. The first is Hack Smarter. We have hands-on courses and labs that you can actually afford in the field of ethical hacking. If you have not joined the Hack Smarter platform, dude, you are missing out. You need to join. Go join right now. And the other one is Kairos Sec, which is a boutique pen testing firm. So if your company is in need of a pen test in 2026, I would love to work with you. I would love to hack your company before the real bad criminals do. So hey, hello. Is this follow up on another machine or a new one? We will be starting a brand new machine. In the last live stream, we finished the evasive machine, which we were working on for a long time. Today's live stream, we are going to be working through the Sysco machine. I'll show it to you guys real quick before we do any AMA. Let me get all of this pulled up. So number one, if you are not part of the Hack Smarter platform, what are you doing with your life? Seriously, join. It is the best platform, the best community for learning cybersecurity. We have a free workshop coming up, by the way. If you're in the Discord, you may have seen that our Discord is completely free, so make sure you click the Discord button. But I am doing a free workshop with my friend Tinas, aka Amoeba Man. You may recognize his name from the Try Hack Me space. But Tinas and I are doing a free workshop on race conditions, and in true Hack Smarter style, we are going to have labs built into the workshop. So this isn't just like two talking heads talking at you. It'll be fully interactive, hands-on keyboard, hacking all the things, and the best part, it is completely free. It will not cost you anything. So make sure you join that workshop and hack alongside of us. Anyways, if you're not part of the platform, you should join. Only $16.99 a month for the annual plan for all access. That unlocks literally everything, every course, every hack with me, every lab in our first range, which is like a Hack the Box Pro lab, which will be coming out on February 17th when that releases. Otherwise, if you're only interested in the labs, only $6.99 a month, unlimited access to all of our labs. Many of our labs are multi-machines chained together, so with a heavy focus on realism. So you need to join. If you haven't already, join. Join and hack all the things. Anyways, in tonight's live stream, we have been, well, if you've been following my YouTube series, I literally have been solving every single machine in order from the time they are released. So we just finished the evasive machine. And so tonight, we are going to begin the Sysco Active Directory machine made by the one and only Lane Kusanagi. You may recognize his name. Lane Kusanagi made the famous OSCP list of machines, and he's also one of our machine creators. So he made Sysco, and he made another machine called Sideload that is in QA. That'll be coming out soon. So shout out to Lane Kusanagi. You are awesome. If you haven't seen his list of machines, for those of you prepping for the OSCP, you have likely seen this on Discord. Let me just drop a link here if you want to check out his list. But if you go to his list and you scroll through, note that he has an entire thing for Hack Smarter. So if you're studying for the OSCP, you can dive into this and see what might prep you for the OSCP. And he keeps it up to date, especially on the Hack Smarter stuff. You can see he just added in December 14th, Odyssey and SNS secrets to the Hack Smarter list. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but not only for the $6.99 a month, I feel like a used car salesman, you get access to Windows labs, Linux labs, Active Directory labs, web challenges, and AWS pen testing labs. So if you want to dig into AWS pen testing, we have SNS Secrets, which is an AWS lab, and Static, which is an AWS lab, and we release new labs every single week. And the lab that we're releasing this week on Thursday is going to be another AWS lab. So we try to cover the full spectrum. Once again, heavy focus on realism. So if you're not part of the platform, you are missing out. But we are going to be working through Sysco today. So go subscribe so that you have access, then enroll in the Sysco machine, and then we'll be launching it up and hacking all of the things shortly. Now, let me just scroll up and say hello to everyone checking in, which, by the way, it looks like we have about 30 people right now, and only a few of you have said hello. So even if you're here just like lurking and you're just threw me up on the side monitor, at least say hi. I would love to hear from you, so say hello in chat. Let me scroll to the top. We got Computer Guy Dre with the first blood. What is up, my friend? We got Port Zero. Good to see you. We got Zeus checking in. We got Sank 888. We got Jaso. What is up? We got Sank second account checking in. Thank you for boosting my number, Sank. I appreciate it. You're the real MVP. We got Shike checking in, if I'm saying your name correct. We got Spoon Stir 5958. Good to see you. We got Chris, the AI pen testing god, checking in. Dude, guys, actually, I don't know if I can show this to you guys. Let me see if I get logged into Discord. Chris blew my mind just the other day. We released a new machine on Thursday, as we usually do, and it was a relatively difficult Active Directory machine called Lumen Industries. And freaking this Chris guy, this AI mastermind, has like an AI agent that solved the machine fully autonomously. Like, my mind was blown. Let me show this to you guys. It was crazy. I need to grab my other screen real quick. Let me go to Properties, Open Selector, Application Window, and let me grab Discord, Share. Okay, here we go. By the way, guys, before I show you that, one quick thing I'm experimenting with. I don't actually know if I have configured it properly. Oh, we got the $10 super chat from IK40Sec, my friend. Thank you. On a Saturday night, the grind is real. Dude, I was bored and I was like, hey, let's do some hacking. One of my traditional streams, not just the AMA, let's hang out, let's spend our Saturday night hacking all the things. But one quick thing I want to show you, I added an activity log. I don't know if I did it right. We'll find out as people start solving labs once they jump on. But hopefully over on Discord, when you solve a lab, it'll be a cool little ping here to celebrate the labs. This is if you solve a lab or if you just answer a question in a course. It should ping this channel. If I set it up properly, we will find out, and no one can comment. Leon was like, hey, that's not a great idea to comment. And I was like, yeah, I should probably turn it off. So no one can comment on it, but hopefully when you solve labs, they'll pull up in our activity log here on Discord. Oh, we got the $5 super chat from Computer Guy Dre. Don't forget to plug the Hack Smarter merch. I got you, bro. I will do that once I show you this crazy AI from Chris. But yes, we have our Lumen Industries lab that released on Thursday. Let me scroll up and find Chris's message. I guess I could just search for Chris, but he's still working on it, right? He says it's a work in progress, but I was amazed. Look at this. Would you just look at it? He did this with the AI agent. It says the AI agent will complete on its own. Let me launch 2 exploit verifier agents in parallel to find the flags. And it freaking rooted the machine. I was like, what? And then I'm starting to think maybe AI is going to take my job. But this is crazy. And then Chris has a YouTube channel. I don't know if he has it linked on his Discord. Let me find if it's in his profile or anything. I'm so bad at Discord, guys. Yes, it is. All right. Let me go ahead and copy this link. He made a video about it. So make sure you first go subscribe to Chris and then check out his video. But yes, my mind was blown when he did that. All right, let me get Discord exited out. Get back to our VM. Properties, open selector, application window, Cali, boom. And since Computer Guy Dre did the $5 super chat, he said you guys might want to see some Hack Smarter swags. If you ever see me wearing like the Hack Smarter shirt or the Hack Smarter hat, I also have Hack Smarter shirts and sweatshirts and all that good stuff. If you want to rep it, go to store.hacksmarter.org. It will auto direct to our Printful site. And here it is. Now, I don't mark these up really at all, so these are just at cost. I think it forces me to mark it up by like 1%. So that's what they're marked up as. But buy all the swag, buy all the gear, hack all the things. This is the hat that I have on right now. I have, I think, all of this gear, actually. Most of it, including the stickers. So, check it out. Anyway, someone could sponsor the upcoming web app course for me. I see many donating here. We'll probably do some giveaways a little bit after the web app course comes out. But I mean, no one can sponsor it for you now because it's not available. You might want to ask after it actually releases. But that web app course will be coming out on March 3rd. I guess I could show you guys a little bit of that because I've been putting in work on that. Give me just a moment. I'll get it pulled up. Show you where we're at now. And let me just glance through chat to see if there's any questions that I am missing. Fredrickson said, your site is absolutely the best. Jerby said, best lab platform, period. Stop slacking and get us up. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I have CPTS, CRTP, CRTO. What are my chances of passing OSCP with just an exam voucher? Says Shike. Well, you cannot get just an exam voucher. I believe you still have to buy 90 days of lab access. You may or may not pass. The OSCP is very CTF-y. So even if you have something like the CPTS, I have seen many people with the CPTS struggle deeply with the OSCP because the CPTS teaches realism and the OSCP teaches a little bit of CTF techniques. So I would strongly recommend doing at least some of the labs from the Pen 200 and doing some of the labs from Proving Ground to get a feel for what the OSCP is like. Shipped to the UK, I'm not sure. You have to check. I'll be honest. I really don't know. And with, the current president of the United States, Mr. Felon, the president, and his freaking insane, wacky tariffs, I don't know how that affects things. As an American, I sincerely apologize to the rest of the world that somehow my country elected that dude. Insanity. Anyways, let me go ahead and head over to the pen testing course, and I'll show you what we have so far. So here is the course that I am building out. It's very much focused on a realism, not teaching you how to solve CTFs, but teaching you how to do an actual web app pen test, and it is fully hands-on. So for example, in information gathering, we have a custom challenge, and all of these labs, I have custom labs for everything. We go through authentication. So I have finished all of 1, I have finished all of 2, all of 3, all of 4, all of 5, all of 6, all of 7, all of 8, all of 9, all of 10. This is what I finished up the other day. And these, once again, have all these custom challenges built into it. And I just showed you one of the flags from when I was testing it. But we have all of that done. And then server-side attacks part 2. I have like the labs ready to go. You can even see my random instructions. Like I even have my brief explanations, but custom labs for all of this for server-side attacks part 2. I have all the labs done. I just finished up my slides, so I'll be recording that on Tuesday. I actually have Monday off. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. My kids got it off from school, so I was like, yo, I'm going to give myself the day off too so I can hang out with my kids. So I'll be recording this on Tuesday. Then I'll do client-side attacks. This is going to get much larger. I have a feeling I'm going to have to break client-side attacks into 2 parts, just like server-side attacks. Then we'll have a custom capstone and then some career advice. So it's getting kind of sort of close to the finish line. Still have a lot of work to do, but I am pumped for you guys to see it. Now, it will be done sooner than I release it, but on February 17th, we are releasing our first network or range, a 6-machine network with a heavy focus on realism that will be coming out on February 17th. And then this course on web app pen testing will be coming out on March 3rd, and it will only be $29.99 on release for lifetime access. Or if you enroll in the all access sub, you get access to everything, including the new course, all my past courses, all the Hack With Me's, all the labs. That is the best value. But also, I know not a lot of people, or not everyone is a fan of subs. So I wanted to give everyone the option to purchase the course for lifetime access with the one-time purchase. So the course itself will be $49.99, but on release, it will be 50% off, 50, dropping the price to $29.99. We'll have over 30 custom labs in it. We'll give you a bunch of lab time, way more than you need, but hack smarter. We're not here to take part. We're here to take over. Do you recommend, I don't know why you're shouting at me, Mr. Kalu, with your all caps. Do you recommend doing EJPT as or any other cert over it? Never done EJPT. I recommend OSCP. Have you done anything in terms of automating the report writing process? Well, I use Dratis Pro for my report writing when I'm doing a pen test. So I have a license to Dratis Pro. This automates some of it. I'm not sure what you mean by automation. If you mean by automating it with AI, I personally do not think that's a good idea. Remember, your pen test report is your deliverable to the client. And for a pen test, a client's paying a lot of money. Your report should have some personal touch to it. You should not be automating every aspect with AI. I personally think that's a very bad idea. So, I automate some things with Dratis, like I have issues that I've made or vulnerabilities that I made to help speed up the process. But things like remediation advice, how I found it, like none of that's automated. I do all of it manual, which I think is a good idea. Big thing I promote on Kairos as companies are going towards that. Hey, let's freaking bolt AI onto every possible thing. Here's this at Kairos, which is a pen testing firm I started. Right, every pen test is conducted manually. All right. Manually by experienced security professionals who think like real adversaries. We find complex vulns that automated tools consistently miss. There is a place for AI, don't get me wrong. But I honestly think that people are hungry for real humans. Everything is so AI and so automated, which is cool in some regards, but I really like to promote the manual side of things. Of course, I use like Nessus and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Same with live streaming, guys. Joe Hudson asked this really good question on LinkedIn the other day about why do you live stream? And my response was like, I think live streaming is one of the few places that people can actually see real content. If you're anything like me, I am so freaking sick of the AI slop. I feel like every post I see on LinkedIn is very clearly a silly AI slop post. Now I feel like the videos I see are AI slop, and even the videos made by a real person with a real face, you can clearly tell that they are reading an AI freaking transcript that told them the entire script to make. It just is not creative. It does not have that human touch. Sure, maybe it's faster to use AI, but I don't know, guys. I personally think that people are hungry for real people, not more AI. And so that's what I try to promote on Hack Smarter, on KairoSec, on my YouTube channel. Heck, most of my standalone videos on YouTube are literally just clips from the live stream. And I can assure you, I don't have anything to look at. I don't have, what do you call the news, the things that news people do? What is it called? The thing that shows you the words to say. I don't know when my mind is blanking on it, but guys, all I have is my smartphone set up. I have no prompts. I have nothing that tells me what to say or how to interact. But I think that's why so many people don't live stream. They're much more comfortable hiding behind a script and like something that tells them, hey, this is what you say at this time and this is the command you run. Yeah, teleprompter. Thank you, Chris. They don't want to do the live stream because when you live stream, you are forced to interact with people on the spot. And especially when you live stream hacking, you are forced to show your mistakes. You are forced to troubleshoot as you go. And for some reason, a lot of people are afraid of that. But I think that people are hungry for the human element, not the AI element. All right, I'll get off my soapbox now. Exactly. CodeStar says people forget the client isn't paying for the testing. They are paying for the report. Spot on. Is there an alternative to Nessus? I'd like to use it, but it's expensive. It is freaking expensive, dude. My heart broke a little bit when I had to buy it. It was almost $5,000 for a yearly license, which was insane. But if you're just using Nessus to learn, there is a free community edition that I think limits you to 16 hosts or something when it comes to scanning. So just for learning, you can check out Nessus. As far as an alternative, there's the, I forgot what their name. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, OpenVAS. Now, I spun this up actually in one of my videos. We played around with this a little bit. OpenVAS is an open source alternative. I can tell you that Nessus is significantly easier to use. I'd assume Nessus is more powerful, but I haven't actually done a comparison between Nessus and OpenVAS. That might actually make a pretty cool video that if we take like the network that we're releasing on Hack Smarter and I scan it with Nessus, like a professional Nessus, and then I scan it with OpenVAS and we compare, that would be a cool video. You guys remind me. Oh, Sank says OpenVAS sucks. All right. Well, maybe that wouldn't be a cool video. How is your web pen testing course different from the Portswigger Web Academy? Good question. One huge difference is Portswigger Web Academy is text-based. My course is full video-based with custom notes in every single module. So that's one big way that it's different. A second big way that it's different is even the content that I cover. So if I go into my foundations of web app pen testing, especially in the beginning here, when I talk about, for example, how a pen test works, I'm a real pen tester. This is what I do day in and day out. And I walk you through how a pen test works from the moment a client reaches out on KairoSec. I even go over the legal docs that go with having a pen test. I give you my real legal docs that I use. And then I also introduce Kaido and I showcase Kaido throughout the entire course. So I'd say first, I'm a huge fan of Portswigger. Matter of fact, in this 1.5 Standing on Giants references, I actually talk about Portswigger Web Academy as the #1 resource that I recommend for more learning and a little more in-depth learning. So It's different in those ways, though. Video-based, it approaches it from the perspective of being a real pen tester, not just looking for things like bug bounty. So hopefully that answered your question. All right, what do we got? Computer Guy Dre said, we have tried every Nessus alternative, but they all fall short on an enterprise level. Exactly. And that's where I think if you're doing pen testing on your own, like if you have your own firm or even as like a contractor, although Nessus is painful when you get that license to it, it is an industry standard. And I feel like if you're doing a pen test without Nessus, it just doesn't look as great. And you may miss some stuff. So Nessus really is an industry standard for good or for bad. I personally think for bad, because then they market they're like OffSec, right? They know they are the standard, so they can charge what they want. Do I have a learning path that I suggest for new students? Absolutely. So if you are new to hacking, I would begin with my Intro to Hacking Methodology course. 50% off right now. Otherwise, it's included in the all access sub, but begin with that, and then it depends on your interest level. From there, you can dive into the Hack With Me's or just dive into the labs. Every single lab has multiple community submitted write-ups, so if you feel lost, you can always refer to the write-ups. I plan on, so my web app pen testing course, guys, is going to come out on March 3rd. The course that I'm going to work on right after that web app pen testing course comes out, I don't have a release date for this one yet, but I want to make like a Active Directory fundamentals course, and not about hacking Active Directory, but how to use Active Directory as a system admin. You see, before I became a pen tester, I was a senior analyst at a very large organization. I'll even show them to you. So it was Alaska Federal Credit Union. Now their name is Global Credit Union. And they are a massive credit union, locations all over the US. So I was a senior analyst on their team. And one of my primary jobs, one of my big jobs, was working in Active Directory and hardening the Active Directory environment. So I have quite a bit of experience on the blue team using Active Directory, configuring Active Directory, and hardening Active Directory. And I think one big issue that people have when it comes to hacking, especially when it comes to Active Directory, is they immediately jump into hacking Active Directory without ever actually working with Active Directory. And that's why things can be so confusing. So I want to make a small course called Fundamentals of Active Directory, once again, fully hands-on, but teach you how to use Active Directory from the perspective of a system admin or even from IT support. So you understand how AD works, you understand the structure, you understand some of the key components, you understand how to defend against certain attacks. And then from there, on top of that, you'll be able to build a solid foundation for hacking AD. So that's my plan. Web app pen testing course, March 3rd. And then I'm hoping the course after that is a smaller kind of mini course called Fundamentals of Active Directory, which will be really good for beginners. What's up, Nick? What's good, Eldritch? We're doing a little hacking. We are going to do a little hacking. Shaik says, I'm going to have to say goodnight. It's 2:30. I'm sorry. But good night. I hope you sleep amazing. Since it's 2:30, I hope you can sleep in until like 10 in the morning. And relax in the morning. But okay, guys and gals, shall we dive into the hacking? I think we shall. Yeah, that would be cool as well, Yusuin. We could do like a mini one on that. A little mini course. All right. Once again, let me get some of these extra tabs closed out. We are going to be starting the Sysco machine from the HackSmarter platform. It is a medium-rated Active Directory machine. So if you have a sub to HackSmarter, I strongly encourage you hack alongside of me. You'll learn by just watching the video. You'll learn even more by hands-on keyboard. So if you don't have a sub, go sub. It's only $6.99 a month for the annual plan. And then go ahead and enroll into Sysco, and let's hack all the things. Before I do that, though, let me get logged into Notion and just get our notes ready for this machine. Hey, thank you, A1S2CA. I appreciate the kind words. And I'm going to edit this real quick. Hands on keyboard. Let's go, says Sync. All right. Go to on-prem. Create a new page. All right, I'm almost ready to show you guys my screen. Now, I use just the completely free version of Notion for note-taking, so everything I'm doing, you can follow along if you set up a free Notion account. So we'll just call it Sysco, and Hack Smarter, of course, is the platform. And all of that is good to go. Now I can tab over to the labs. Let me get this started up. We'll give it a few minutes to start up. Elder said, dang, dude, the platform's looking stellar. Thank you. That's the goal. We release new labs every week, sometimes multiple labs. So Hack Smarter officially launched, I think, like mid-September. And we now have, I think it's over 26 hands-on labs. We have a bunch in the holster to release. We have our first range coming out February 17th. If you count the labs in the courses, like the Sliver C2 course, the Sliver C2 course comes with 20 labs in the course or something around that. So we're at like almost 50 labs on the platform already. And we are just getting started. And it's super affordable for people. All right. Machine is live now. I need to jump onto the VPN. So let me grab the VPN for Sysco. I also, for those of you who are new, it's during these live streams that I make my shorter videos for YouTube. So in just a moment, we'll hit record, and we will also start recording for the YouTube people who aren't as cool as you guys. Yes, I have annual subscription. So that's where you can get it like as cheap as possible. So like for just the labs, it's only $6.99 a month with an annual sub. And for all access, it's $16.99 a month for the annual sub. That's all courses, that's everything. To be very clear though, our upcoming range, which is like a Hack the Box Pro Lab equivalent, number one, every student gets a private instance of the network when you're working through it, so you don't have to ever deal with anyone else. And persistent stays, it saves your progress every time you stop the network. So if you have persistence, you reset someone's password, you don't have to redo those steps when you come back to it. But anyways, those ranges are only included in all access, not in the hands-on labs. I would go very, very, very broke if I included it in that. Hey, thank you, James Shake. I appreciate the kind words. You are awesome. All right, let me change this to terminal. Go to Hack Smarter folder. We're going to make a directory for Sysco. And we'll CD over to Sysco. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to get a drink of water, and then we're going to start recording for the YouTube people who watch after the fact. And if you haven't already, get a subscription, join the Sysco lab, launch the lab, get on the VPN, get your black hoodie on, get your notes ready. We are going to hack all the things. In today's live stream, I have a feeling we're only going to focus on enumeration. I don't actually remember. I don't think I've ever solved this lab. So I will give you guys my raw attempt. I believe this lab was all done by our QA team, but I really don't remember. But I'll give you my raw attempt as we dive into it. Hey, thanks you, Onar B Security. All right. Let's go ahead and record. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to begin working through the Sysco machine from the Hack Smarter platform, which is, of course, the best platform for learning ethical hacking. I'm a little bit biased, but it's still true. Sysco is a medium-rated Active Directory lab, and it is created by the one and only Lane Kusanagi. Now, you may recognize the name Lane Kusanagi if you've ever studied for the OSCP. He has the famous Lane Kusanagi list of OSCP machines, and what you may not know is he is one of our machine creators. He created the Sysco machine on our platform, and he just created a new one called Sideload. It is not out yet, but it will be coming out soon. So if you're not part of Hack Smarter, you need to join, and if you go to his list, you'll see that Hack Smarter is on his list. So if you're studying for the OSCP, Hack Smarter is an amazing platform. You may also notice that I have a live stream. We have Spoon talking up there. I make these videos when I live stream, and I live stream all the time. So if you've never been part of a live stream, you are missing out. Make sure, as the influencers say, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and hit the little bell notification so that you're notified the next time I'm live. All right, all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the hacking. So here is our Sysco machine. Now, I've already launched my machine. I already jumped on the VPN. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and get that done. But let's see what we are dealing with today. I'll zoom in so you guys can see it a little bit better. And it says Sysco, and you know what? I don't need to be this large in this corner. Let me make myself much, much smaller. There we go. Sysco is a managed service provider that has tasked us, the Hack Smarter Red Team, to perform an external pen test on their Active Directory domain. You must obtain initial foothold so we don't have assumed breach this time, move laterally, and escalate privileges while evading AV. So we might have some AV evasion to do as well to obtain admin privs. The core objective of this external pen test is to simulate a realistic, determined adversary, which is what we are, to achieve domain admin privileges within Sysco's Active Directory environment. Starting from an external position, we will focus on obtaining an initial foothold, perform lateral movement, and execute privilege escalation while successfully evading AV and other security controls. This is a red team exercise to find security weaknesses before a real attacker does. Hey, Code Stars, I will answer your question after we are done recording. For the recordings, I try to just focus on the lab. That's why I always do the AMA before we start recording. But if you guys have questions on the lab as we work through it, feel free to ask and I will answer them as we go, because there's a good chance the people who watch this on YouTube after the fact might have the same question. But all right, we have the machine launched. Now, step number one is I'm going to click into here to copy the IP, and let's go ahead and see what is running on this machine. Now, you can use Nmap. I like to use RustScan simply because the syntax is easier for beginners to remember, and I'm assuming a lot of you who are watching this are a beginner or you're new to Active Directory hacking. So with RustScan, a way that we can scan our target is we just type RustScan -A, and then we want to pass it the IP. And then there's something really cool that RustScan does for us, and I'll explain the syntax. So the first part is just saying, hey, RustScan, I want you to scan this IP and find every open port that you're able to find. And then what we're saying is saying, RustScan, when you find those open reports, I want you to pass them over to Nmap. And that's what this is, pass to Nmap. And then we're saying, hey, Nmap, once you see those open ports, I want you to scan them with the -A flag. If you know your Nmap flags, you know that the -A flag means like throw all the enumeration scripts at it. Let's see what services are running, let's see what versions are running, and let's enumerate all the things. So just good, simple one-liner command to remember as you begin your enumeration on a target machine. The other thing we're going to do as we wait for our scan to complete is let's get our notes set up. Your notes are incredibly important. And if you've ever watched me solve a machine, you will notice every time I work through a machine, even when I'm offline working through a machine, I take notes on everything. The act of taking notes helps you remember what you did. Just writing stuff down helps cement it in your brain, but your notes serve as your second brain. So it's been a while since I took the OSCP. I think I passed the OSCP back in 2021, so it's been a while. It's been a few years now. But when I took the OSCP, I was able to pass it in 8 hours on my first attempt, and a big reason for that is because of my way of taking notes. I take notes on everything. So when I was doing something like the OSCP, let's say I came across FTP, which is port 21, I would just do Control F and type in FTP in my notes, and I would look at every single machine I did in prep, see FTP, see how I attacked it, see how I exploited it, and then I would try it on the machine that I was doing for the OSCP. So if you are not in the habit of taking notes as you work through machines, you need to start yesterday. And since you can't start yesterday, you need to start today. What's up, RCV? What's up, Hacker Exploit? What's up, Exploit Forge? Good to have all of you here. Anyways, here in Notion, I'm going to do an H1 header, and I'm going to call it enumeration, and I'm going to do an H2 header, and I'm going to call it Nmap, and then I'm going to drop a code block for our Nmap scan. To do a code block in Notion is 3 backticks, 1, 2, 3. And the cool thing about Notion is we can make a table of contents. So then very quickly, especially if we come back to this machine another time, which I guarantee we're not going to solve it tonight, we can come back and look at everything that we have done. So we got our H1 enumeration, H2 Nmap, and now let's go see if our scan is done, and it is not done yet. But we can begin enumerating a little bit. We can see DNS is running, Kerberos is running. We have port 80 running, so that's likely going to be a web server. We have SMB running with 445 and 139. 135. We have RDP running in 3389. So if we didn't already know, this is very clearly a Windows machine and also very clearly an Active Directory machine based on the services that are running. Yes, Anorb Security, all of my videos are saved, recorded. Watch them on demand on my YouTube channel. So Yes, you can go to sleep and come back to this tomorrow. This will also be released as a standalone video on my YouTube channel as well. But as this runs, what we can begin doing is let's just go ahead and look at the web server. Often the web server might be our initial entry point, and look at this, it looks like it is now running our mmap scan, so we might get our full results quickly. But let me jump over to our notes and let's go ahead and make a tab. We'll do an H2 and we'll do HTTP, and I always like to specify like the service that is running followed by the port. It just helps my brain function better. If you're taking a course, how do you set up your note structure, if that makes sense? I know you're taking cues later. Yeah, we'll talk about later. A good place to learn what each port usually maps to, honestly, I would just use Quizlet. Quizlet is what I used. It's a way that you can make online flashcards. I have like the Security Plus and the Network Plus. I got those many years ago, but I think it was the Network Plus in particular. You had to have a bunch of different ports memorized. I was like, hey, what is running on this port? And you had to know the answer. So when I went through those certs, I used Quizlet to memorize all of the main ports, and that's how I memorized them, and it's just stuck with me. Now when I'm doing pen testing, I see them often. So that's how I memorized it. I'm curious, those of you in the live chat, how would you memorize the different parts? How did you end up memorizing it? I personally think, if Quizlet's even around, I haven't looked, but that's what I used back in the day. Anyways, what's up, Thicolo? What up, Sid? While we wait for our scan to finish, which it should be done soon, let's just go ahead and see what is running on this web server. I'm going to go ahead and grab our IP, and let's head out to it on port 80. Well, it's actually a pretty nice looking website, especially just for a CTF. So we have our Sysco MSP. We are a team of talented IT specialists bringing top tier support for your infrastructure. So we have managed IT support, we have cybersecurity solutions, we have cloud services, IT strategy and consulting. About us. They got quite a few clients. Wow, 232 clients, 521 projects, 1,453 hours of support, 32 workers, which this is actually a little bit helpful to us because if we're targeting users, we know that there's probably around at least 32 users in the AD environment. The colors that he just learned by doing the CTS, so it was a pain in the beginning. Oh, hey, and look, this is done. We'll come back to the web server. Let's go ahead and take these and add them to our notes, at least the main ones that are going to be somewhat important. I'm going to skip most of these standard Windows ones. I'm just going to grab starting right here, scroll up to the top, and we'll go ahead and copy that. Let's jump over to our notes and just drop this into our notes and take a quick look at these results. So we, of course, have DNS running on port 53. Now, if we don't find anything with port 80 or in our enumeration, we can come back to DNS. There's some basic things you can do with DNS, but often it's not going to be your way in. When there's a web server running, this is always a good thing to dig into. And if we were doing a web app pen test, we actually have a finding already. Now, this is not necessarily a big vulnerability. It's more of an informational, but you would add it to the report, especially on an external pen test or a web app pen test, and that is software version disclosure. Your web server should be set up in such a way that it does not reveal the version of the software that's running, but here we can see Apache 2.4.58. I'm pretty sure that's relatively up to date. So that's not going to be our way in. We see OpenSSL and PHP, both of those relatively up to date, so likely not our way in, but it is possible. But we have the HTTP stuff there. We also, here, while I'm thinking, I'm going to add this down here to my HTTP, and then we'll look at some of these other ones real briefly. We have Kerberos, of course. We have SMB. We have LDAP running. We have RDP, and now we have a host name. Cisco.local is going to be the domain, and the host that we are attacking is a domain controller, so dc01.cisco.local. What we want to do at this point is add this to what's called the etc host file here on Linux. Your etc host file on Linux is what resolves IP addresses and domain names. I like to think of it as your contact book on your phone. If I was going to call Thicolo, I don't actually have his number, but if I did, I would just type Thicolo into my phone, and my phone would connect his domain to his phone number. I don't need to know his phone number. It's kind of what etc host does, but often when you're working with Active Directory, you want to modify your etc host file so it reaches out to that domain controller as we do our enumeration. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to copy that dc01.cisco.local, go over to my terminal, and I'm going to do sudo nano etc host. drop down to the bottom, and I will paste that in. And then what I want to do is grab the IP of the machine, and that's right here. And we'll paste that in there, hit tab on my keyboard to drop it over. I'm also going to add just Sysco.local to resolve just the domain. And then to save it from Nano, I know it looks confusing. We have the crazy caret key. It's Control X, Y, Enter. What's up, Bearded IT Dad? Good to have you here. All right, now that we have done that, let's continue and look at what we have here. So we know we have RDP running. This is good information to have so that if we are able to compromise a user's credentials, we want to try them in RDP. Now, not all users in an Active Directory environment have RDP access, but if we can get RDP access, GUI access to the domain controller, that's a massive win, and it will make our life a little bit easier. And we have the Intel M certificate RDP info here. Nothing super useful for right now. And so what we're left with as well is this web server. Now, before we continue looking at the web server itself, there's a little bit of enumeration, some scans I want to run in the background. One scan I want to do is I want to do directory brute forcing to see if there's any hidden directories on this web server. So I'm going to go ahead and do an H3 here, and I'm going to use dir search. That's what I like to use for directory brute forcing. And I will drop that in there. And we can also look for vhosts. Vhosts are a way that you can set up a web server so that more than one web server uses the same IP, and also like subdomains and things of that nature. So we want to brute force for those as well. So directory brute forcing and vhost brute forcing. I like to run those scans, and then while those scans are running, then I manually enumerate the website. So let's go ahead and kick off those scans. We'll rename this tab dir search, and I'm going to do dir search -u. We should be able to do Sysco.local now, since we added it to our Etsy hosts, and we can go ahead and just use the default word list built into Sysco, or built into dir search. Let's make sure this actually kicks off. I should make sure I can ping it. Oh, nope, I did something wrong. Oh, Sysco with an S. Let's go ahead and fix that. Sysco with an S. There we go. We'll kick off Sysco.local, and we'll go ahead and do some vhost fuzzing. Now, I have a script in my GitHub, but it really just uses fuff. So if you search for me on GitHub, Tenebrae93, go to my offensive security repo, you'll find this little vhost fuzzer script, but I think I have it on my machine, which I do. And let's go ahead and fuzz this. I doubt there's going to be anything, but we'll give it a shot. Sysco.local is our domain. Our word list is, we'll use directory list medium, directory list 2.3 medium. URL is going to be Sysco.local. FS filter, we don't know, so we're going to do 1. You'll see that a non-existent subdomain or vhost is size 23193. So we're going to change our filter to 23193. 23193. What is going on? There. I don't know what was happening. All right, we'll change it to vhost. We got dir search is already done, and we found actually some interesting things here. Very interesting things. We have assets. That's not super interesting to us, but let's go ahead and add that to our notes, which there we go. We'll drop that in there. We have this print environment here, which looks super sus. Don't know if that'll be interesting to us. We have some readmes. I'm just going to grab one of those readmes. We don't need all of them. And it looks like we have a Roundcube instance running as well on this web server. So there we go. We have those dropped into here in dir search, and vhost is still running. I'm going to make another H3, and we'll just say website features. And as we enumerate the website itself, we'll see what we can find. Exactly, Thickolo. We'll dig into all this. We're going to look at the website itself first, and then we'll look into some of the dir search things. Make sure vhost is working, and it is. It's not finding anything. We'll close out that tab. And now let's just look at the website. Would you just look at it? So what I'm looking for when I'm looking at a website are things like user enumeration, especially in a red team engagement. When you do a red team engagement, the beginning of your engagement is often OSINT. And one big thing you want to do is identify employees of the organization. You can use things like LinkedIn to do that. But if the website says, hey, this is our team, or here's a directory of our users, that's an amazing source of information for a red team engagement. How do you determine which info is important for dir search? I tend to look at anything that comes up on dir search that isn't otherwise available. So assets, it might allow directory listing, see if there's anything there. This just looks strange. This looks like a Perl script in CGI bin. And Roundcube as well is an actual instance of Roundcube running. We'll take a look at that. But really anything that seems out of the ordinary, same with a readme.txt, you're not normally going to see that on a web server. So anything that just stands out to you is going to be worth digging into, or anything that is not accessible on the main website that is discovered via directory brute forcing. Fun fact, once on a pen test on a public-facing web app, just by running dir search, I was able to find a page that the developers didn't realize they committed, and on the page it had their private keys for GitHub, and it gave me read and write access to their private GitHub. That was a critical early disclosure for the client that day, but literally found a critical finding just from using dir search on a public-facing web app. It's a good thing I found it, and it wasn't found by a real threat actor. Okay, so this is exactly what I was talking about. We have some user enumeration here, and it's not that many. So what I'm going to do is we'll go here, and I'm going to do nano users.txt, and I'll just type them out. So we have someone named Greg Shields, like so. I typed his name wrong, Greg Shields. We have Sarah J. Honson. We have Jack Dowland, and we have Lainey Moore. We can use like username anarchy, I think is what it's called, to create a list of users. And I don't know if that's actually going to be helpful, but we do have username enumeration. And especially with an Active Directory environment, that may come in handy for us later. We have a contact us. Does this do anything? Unable to load the PHP email form library. Interesting. Oh, and we have some contact information here. So we have an info@sysco.local. Now, we already know the domain from our nmap scan when we hit RDP, but if we did not know it was sysco.local, this would tell us right here that the domain we're dealing with is sysco.local. The reason I always try to fill out these forms is if it's, especially on a CTF, you'll see this because it emulates the real world a little bit. But if you ever see a contact form, always try to fill it out and see if it sends data, because there's a chance you might be able to use cross-site scripting. If there's like a bot on the other end emulating a user and that the bot receives your message, then you can use cross-site scripting. We could either steal like a session token from them, log in, but I don't even see a login page. This seems to be just a static website. If I click get started, that just goes down here, read more. Goes back. We can go ahead and look at the page source. But from what I can see, this is just a static website. There's no interesting scripts or anything that are running. We have like some JavaScript stuff, but here's a PHP email form that isn't working. But cool. Now, let's go ahead and dig into some of the stuff that we found. So what do we have so far? And I'm looking at time. We're about the 20-minute mark. And actually, you know what? For the YouTube video, this is a really good stopping point. I'm first going to document this, that we were able to find some username enumeration. I'm going to make a code block, and let's drop in those usernames that we found. But that's really all we have from the website so far. Just from looking at the website, is we have some, it's not even username enumeration. That's incorrect. It'd be user enumeration. We don't actually know their usernames, because it could be like G Shields or Greg.Shields. Like, we don't know the syntax for this organization. That's something that we'll likely have to figure out. But this is a really good stopping point for part one of working through the Sysco machine, because we've done a little bit of enumeration together. We hit the target with InMap. We figured out what was running. We added to Etsy host. We looked at the website. We did user enumeration, and we found a few things with dir search that we need to dig into. So what I want you to try on your own is try to go from here. See if you can dig into those files from dir search. See if you can enumerate some of those other ports and see what you are able to find. If you get stuck, that's totally fine. Join me in part 2, and we will continue hacking together. So until next time, hack smarter, not harder. I'll see you then. All right, live stream people, don't leave yet. We're going to keep hacking. I was just going to stop recording part 1 for the YouTube universe. Let me go ahead and grab this video on my host machine and add it to the right folder so I can remember to upload it. Give me just one moment. Paste this here. This was Sysco. Part 1. Okay. If anyone has questions, ask now. Forever hold your peace. In dir search, there's a file about form. Might come in handy. Yeah, that's what we're going to look into next. Larissa said, love your videos. Looking forward to watching more. Thank you, Larissa. I appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you hanging out. I am a SOC analyst, and I'm getting added to my company's red team. That's awesome. What course of yours do you recommend for beginners? I recommend, especially if you're adding to the red team. So here's what I would do. Intro to hacking methodology, then hands-on phishing. So you learn some red team techniques for phishing engagements, and then Sliver C2 pentesting and evasion. And then, of course, if my web app course comes out, I think you'll really find that helpful too. Why choose dir search over GoBuster? Yeah, just preference. Just preference. Yeah, Ryan's course is really good too. His is over on Simply Cyber. Let me get it pulled up. Hacking Active Directory. Ryan is working on a course right now for the Hack Smarter platform that will be fully hands-on on DACL abuses. So you have to check that out. If you're taking a course, how do you structure your course notes? That's a good question. Generally, it depends on the course. But if I'm working through a course, I like to jot down the high-level notes and any syntax in particular. Syntax is really important to note down from the courses, in my opinion. And then if the courses have hands-on labs built into them, which any hacking course should have hands-on labs, make sure you document how to solve those labs. I also made like a note-taking GPT back in the day that for things like Hack the Box, you can copy and paste the page into the note-taking GPT, and it gives you a really nice structured notes. You'd have to go to my YouTube channel to find that, but been forever. Dude, I've been live a lot, Metrics. Let's check. I think you've been the one gone, Metrics. Let's see. When was the last time I was live? Let me pull it up. All right. I was live 2 days ago. I was live again 2 days ago. Then I was live 3 days ago. Then I was live 5 days ago. Then I was live 8 days ago. And then I was alive 12 days ago. So I've actually been live within the past 2 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Within just the past week, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been live about 5 times within just the past week. So I've been live. Where have you been, Metrics? If you do Pen 200, make sure you do all the challenge labs. If you're able to complete them, you will pass. Nice. Good advice for others. For those of you studying for the OICP. Guys, I'm thirsty. And I've been talking a lot. So I'm going to go fill up my water. How to use Cobalt Strike in Active Directory. Also talk about cryptors and bypass UAC. You trying to have me give you a full course in the Q&A time? That's too many questions. Check out CRTO. It's halftime, so I'm hanging out here during it. I love it. All right, guys, let me turn some tunes for you. And then let's take a 5-minute break. And then we'll start recording part 2 of working through the Sysco machine. Let me see what I can find. How about? All right, yeah, we got some Lecrae. Let's bump some Lecrae. All right, here you guys go. Enjoy the music. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Gonna do some jumping jacks, fill up my water, all that good stuff. Be right back.
For salvation, and salvation does not come without truth.
I will only tell the truth. I will only tell the truth. Truth.
People wonder, is he woke or just a new slave? Oh, religion, he just covered it with new change. Trapping out the church, he ain't really fake. He divisive, he don't rep the king, he just want the fame. Ah man, now they acting like it's suddenly political. Told me shut my mouth and get my checks from evangelicals. Boy, my mama raised me on Angela and Eldridge. Chuck Berry made it, but the credit went to Elvis. No, you never knew that. No, you think I'm too black. I just think I'm too real. I grew up on Tupac. You grew up thinking that the Panthers were some terrorists. I grew up hearing how they fed my mama eggs and grits. Craig, they say you should follow in the steps of King. I say you forgotten how they shot him in the streets. I ain't really changed, it's the same old rebel. Still a radical, I'm passionate, it's just another level. AT told me I should fight back, they don't like that. Just know if you rock the boat, you better have a life raft. BJ told me I should fight back, they don't like that. Just know if you rock the boat, you better have a life raft.
People cannot abide truth. They prefer fantasy over reality. I am for truth no matter who tells it. I'm for justice no matter who it is for or against.
Rose up out the dungeon, I was feeling horny. Now I'm being honey, and I'm on 100. Hit the gas gunning, skip the pass running. Tell them they can bring that if they really want it. I'm on the home team, you just running with the wrong team. Levitating with the heavyweights, boy, you die, need a little protein. South side up in Yellowstone, had a herringbone and a white tee. Got a 12 pack of that real talk in the trunk, tell them come find me. Draped up, dripped out, covered in the blood. Man, I hang where they cripped out. Sipping on the mud, boy, they swinging, got the whips out. Watch them pop trunk, yeah, I know it's hella dark, but I'm trying to light it up. Now these people swear they own me. Sending out threats, told me keep my mouth shut. Told me be a step and fetch it. I will not oblige to your colonized way of fate. My Messiah died for the world, not just USA. They say Jesus was conservative, tell them that's a lie. No, he not a liberal either if you think I'm choosing side. They say Cray, you so divisive, shouldn't be a black church. I say do the math, segregation started that first. Hey, you want unity, then read a eulogy. Kill the power that exists up under you and over me. I say you want unity, then read a eulogy. Kill the power that exists up under you and over me. Woo. Facts.
So reconciliation or conciliation requires defrauded parties to be made whole, not just apologizing for the offense.
Swear I wanna like this Andre album. When they announced it, I got all excited. This artist I've admired is finally out of hiding. Somehow we got inspired, then decided it's time to break his silence. But he told us that he's staying silent. Playing flute instead of rhyming, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I'm behind it, something different, but something's missing. It felt way off. Felt like watching Jordan play baseball. Then I got suspicious, like, Andre, did you let your inner critic win? Did you convince yourself that you isn't him? Do you got hard drives full of hidden gems? Locked behind computers and won't let us in? Listen, you don't have to, yeah, I get it, man, but who am I supposed to listen to? Lil who? Or another rapper with ghostwriters who only asset is that they visual. With all due respect, I'm sorta pissed at you, cause I've been hearing things you said in interviews, and it's got me a bit confused. Saying you too old to bring something new, that isn't true, but who am I supposed to listen to? I'd rather hear from an old you than just be stuck with hearing all your old tunes. But who am I? Just one of your pupils who got student pride. Sometimes it feel like you dead, but you alive. I just pray before the day that you truly fly. You feel like the gift God gave you was fully utilized. And maybe this is foolish pride, like, what do I think I'm doing? I'm just a stranger out here asking this man for new music. And you never listen to nobody except yourself, so I know this is useless. You drive hey ya at the height of G Unit, and man, that's gangster. You the ultimate nonconformist.
All right, we don't need to wait for the countdown. It's not the beginning of the stream. What is up? Welcome back. If you were just tuning in during the 5-minute break, hello. My name is Tyler Ramsby. I'm the founder of Hack Smarter. We're hacking on Hack Smarter. You should go to hacksmarter.org like all the cool people and also hack with Hack Smarter. Guys, before we go back to the hacking, I need to show you that my bot, my webhook, my API stuff I set up for Discord to pull activity from Hack Smarter and to celebrate when people solve labs. It worked. I saw it come through. Let me show this to you guys. You're not going to be as excited as me, all right? I know you're not. But I'm excited because often when I do things like these, it's freaking broken, and then I have to spend like hours troubleshooting what the heck I did wrong. But it worked. I'm so happy that it worked. Let me get it pulled up here. Oh, Jesse, I just saw your message. So, guys, look at this. Let me switch this over to Discord real quick. It worked. So the range comes out on February 17th. It is going through QA right now. But it worked. There's some things I want to change to this because like so the way it's set up is it's showing the course and then the section that you're on, but for the standalone labs, it's really just like the same thing twice. Whereas like if you solve a lab in a course like Craig over here, right? He's in the Sliver C2 course and he solved a lab on 4.3. So that's why it splits it up. But if it's just a standalone lab, you know, it doesn't make as much sense, but it still works. I'm answering Jesse's questions while he's in the live stream, watching me answer his questions. This is like Inception. Oh, there we go. We got another one. We have Training Pummel just solved the 4.3 lab from Sliver C2. Amazing. I'm so happy it works, guys. So now you probably don't care, okay? Let's just be honest. But I think it's cool. So now anytime you solve a lab or you solve like a hands-on lab or a course, when you solve it, when you answer a question, we have the activity log and then I can celebrate. So we're just going to fire all of these. Now, one thing I want to do, I would actually love to get your guys' thoughts on this before I start recording. So a lot of platforms here, let me actually switch this back to my VM quick and then I'll give you my question. So a lot of platforms have a leaderboard. You know, you go to Hack the Box, you can see the leaderboard, the top people. I don't know if I should add that to Hack Smarter or not. Because here's what I think that does. It almost makes the labs too competitive. And then you'll notice so many people, this is a huge issue on Try Hack Me, like huge, as someone would say. Huge issue on Try Hack Me with their leagues, because for Try Hack Me, a lot of people just like go to walkthroughs and copy and paste flags. They don't even solve it. For some reason, they get a kick out of being in a hacking league or the Sapphire League, which is so freaking silly. The whole purpose of these platforms, guys, is to learn. If you are rushing yourself through a lab or through a course so you can get higher on a leaderboard, you're quite literally cheating yourself. That's not what the platform is made for. It's definitely not what Hack Smarter is made for. So I have resisted looking into adding any type of leaderboard for that reason. I think they're silly. What do you guys think? The Colo said, is your platform for learning or for competition? It is definitely for learning. Leaderboards can be gamed. Yeah. That's why, you know, on Hack the Box, they're very strict on like no hints for active machines. I think that's stupid. You don't know what you don't know. So on Hack Smarter, there is no restrictions on hints. There is no restrictions on walkthroughs. There is no restrictions on live stream. As soon as a machine releases, you can go ahead and jump on live stream and solve it live. I don't care. The goal is to learn, not to be the elitist hacker on a virtual freaking leaderboard that can be gamed. Leave the leaderboards for the release events. That's a good call. I do have those when events release. We technically have like for the first 8 hours, if you do the live event, there's a little leaderboard to make it a little more fun. Jesse said, I don't like the competitiveness. Learning is the best route. I agree because it gets weird. It gets weird when it's so competitive and hints aren't allowed. Even spoilers are allowed on Hack Smarter because I truly believe you do not know what you don't know. Right? Especially if you're a beginner. I want you to be able to have a walkthrough you can look through. I want people to be able to post full like spoilers. Just use a spoiler tags on Discord. I'm not a fan of that silly competitive nature of some other platforms. Can the challenge have a random hash generated per user so every answer is unique? You can, like we could actually do that because I can build it into the startup script of the machines. But I also just think like, what's the point? I don't care if you copy someone's flag. You're only cheating yourself. Nicola said, Hack the Box got very loose recently. People use write-ups for live boxes all the time. Well, because, like, you can't stop the internet. Right? Oh, we got Callie Max. Callie Max said, no leaderboard, please. Couldn't agree more with your reasoning. Okay, sweet. So I'm not the only person that thinks that. Spoonstray said, I think that's good for Hack the Box since active machines are not really for learning, but Hack Smart machines are for learning. They should be for learning. Metric said, I've known people on THM that go through a bunch of information rooms just for the points and keep their ranking. Yeah, that's so freaking stupid. So dumb. Bad platform and design decision, in my opinion. Even Evan of Code got rid of their... Okay, you guys convinced me. I was in the same boat as you guys, but I had a few people ask me. So we're going to keep it no leaderboard because technically I could use like the API to build a leaderboard as people solve machines, but nope. We're not going to do that. But I at least have the activity channel now on Discord so we can celebrate together as people solve labs and get flags. But okay, I agree with you guys. No leaderboard. And for those of you who are new, I just want to showcase this for you. We have on Hack Smarter, here, let me jump over to Hack Smarter. So we, of course, have our courses and such, but even if you just have a hands-on lab sub, basically all of our labs are guided. People in the community, well, I have video walkthroughs on most of them up until Sysco, right? All of these, I have detailed videos on my YouTube channel. But even the ones that I don't have detailed videos on, if you go into any of these machines, so if I click into, I don't know, I'll pick, what's a recent one? Like Lumen Industries is a recent one, Triathlon. We'll pick, let me just pick Midgard into. All right, let me go ahead and jump into this lab real quick. I want you to notice that there's all these walkthroughs submitted by community members, and they're all really well done. 0x Bob is on the QA team, so his are often first, and they're really well written, and I encourage it. So if you create a walkthrough, which you should, it's a great way to learn is by teaching others. Submit it to me. I manually review those and add them to the platform. So if you submit a walkthrough, give me like a day or two, and it will be up on the platform. But I'm a huge fan of that. So even if you're new, like just treat it as a guided room and like open up 0x Bob's walkthrough and hack right alongside of him. And you'll learn a lot along the way. So, yes. Maybe personalize it, not a public leaderboard. That's actually a really cool idea. I don't know how I would do that. It would be like in your account for you to see. To like encourage learning. That's a cool idea, Thicolo. Let me chew on that. Hacker Expo said, if I get the answer, I can ask chat on why this should be the right answer. Exactly. That's why Hack Smarter is here, guys. We are not here to gatekeep. We are here to help you learn, regardless of your experience level. Leaderboard for who's learning the most. Yeah. I do, yeah. Go ahead and submit video walkthroughs. I'll definitely add those. I'm clearly a fan of video walkthroughs. Would Hack Smarter have guided mode? Yeah, so it wouldn't be that hard to do. This is actually where AI might be really helpful. So I'd have to show you guys behind the scenes, but basically I could add another chapter here, and it could be like mid-garden guided mode. And I think what I might be able to do is take like Bob's walkthrough here, copy and paste it into Gemini, and ask it to make it more of a guided mode with flags that way. And I bet I could do that pretty quickly using Gemini. I'd have to tweak it a little bit to make sure it's accurate, but I could make a guided mode for the machines. So then you can solve it like Hack the Box has. Oh, I just showed flags. Oh no, go copy the flags. I just realized I wasn't sharing my screen. I'm so sorry, guys. I was saying that I can make a chapter here for guided mode, and then I could copy and paste Bob's walkthrough and do it that way. And it wouldn't be, I think, that much work. And then you could have, your explore mode and then a guided mode. That's a really good idea. I'll also chew on that. It takes work, so it's going to be probably after my web app pen testing course, because that's really what I'm focused on now, but that's a good idea. I appreciate you guys. What do you recommend for learning scripting in Python? There is a course. There's a few that I recommend. Python for Everyone is a really good course, and it's free. At least the last time I checked, it's free. Yeah. Check out Python for Everyone. That's a good starting point. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Video walkthrough submissions are definitely allowed and encouraged. Same with like live streams, all of it. Allowed and encouraged. And I will just say this, for those of you who do videos and stuff like Chris, we should chat, dude, because I would love to give you some vouchers to give away to your audience, to the hands-on labs. So, Chris, if you send me a DM, we can talk when I am done streaming, or talk next week sometime. But would love to give you a handful of vouchers, and you can use those as giveaways if you'd like, as part of your video walkthroughs. And anyone else who live streams. I don't have unlimited money, so I can't give a bunch away to everyone. But if you live stream or make videos, and you want a voucher or two to give away to your audience, just ping me. All right. Now, another update that was made to Hack Smarter Labs based on request is the machines will time out now, guys. So before, if you were on the VPN, your machine would go for 12 hours. And a lot of people were, forgetting to hit stop on their machine, and they would be done, and the machine would keep running for 12 hours. And it eats up your credits. It costs me a bunch of money when that happens. So we've actually set our machines to timeout in 2 hours if there's no activity on the lab page. So I need to get the devs to add like a timer here, which would be helpful for you to see. But basically, as long as there's some type of activity on this page, even like moving your mouse around, that will reset the 2-hour timer. So your machine shouldn't shut down on you at all. But if you ever notice, this is a recent change we pushed. If you guys ever notice like your machine randomly shutting down, just reach out to me, shoot me an email so I can investigate. If you can include the timestamp when it happened, that'd be awesome. But my email is tyler@kairosec.com. Or if you just have questions, guys, I do my best to read and respond to every email. Now, I am technically on vacation until Tuesday. Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. My kids have it off from school, so I took it off as well to hang out with them. But I still check my email and stuff at night after my kids are down for sleep. Hey, thank you, Saga Media. I appreciate the kind words. And thank you for jumping in over on the Twitch universe. Guys, we have about 70 people right now across YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch. So for all 70 of you, thank you so much. Whatever platform you're on, I really do appreciate you taking you time out of a Saturday night to hang out for me. Hang out for me. Hang out with me. Thanks for adding time out. I'd be forgetful. I forget to stop the machines too. Question, how do you afford to be able to run these VMs? It's a good question. It costs me to host Hack Smarter. It depends on the month and how much usage there is, but it costs me about $1,000 to $2,000 a month. So I'm hoping you all join the platform. I basically give you the subs at cost, but that helps me with those hosting fees. Every student gets a private instance, so it's definitely not cheap. But if the community comes together, which you guys have, I appreciate it. The community pays for it. That's how I'm able to do it. I'll show you guys the usage for this month so far. We're what, like about halfway through the month? Let's see how many VMs have been launched in the first half of January, shall we? Let me go to usage. All right, so this is cool. We've had over 4,000 VMs be launched in the first half of January, so I'm guessing we're going to hit about 8,000 machines launched, which is freaking amazing, guys. I think our record so far on running systems, it was on release day, 2 Thursdays ago when we released Triathlon. I think we hit about 98 running systems at the same time, which is amazing. And the credits, so this comes down to about four credits. Well, actually, it's about 2 credits, probably 2 credits equal an hour. So if we do 15,000 divided by 2, we've had 7,500 hours of lab time so far this month. That is amazing. Now that costs me money. This is where it's like this month, I'm probably looking closer at a total of $2,000 for the month of hosting. But that's amazing, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for being part of the platform and making it awesome. Do you ever see yourself moving off AWS, or is migration not worth it? No, I mean, so the back end is Core Stack and then AWS. It's kind of a mix. Core Stack helps with the AWS side of things. Can I show you guys something amazing? I have so many amazing things to show you guys. I need to show you an update coming to our networks from the Core Stack team. That's going to be amazing, especially for our multi-machine labs, as well as for our more enterprise-style networks, like the larger networks. I shared this on LinkedIn, so let me go ahead and grab this video. And then I'll share my screen. Now, let me warn you, the video is in light mode. I don't know why Chris did this. He likes to torture our eyes, but the video is in light mode. So just prepare your precious hacker eyes for a flashbang. It's like playing Counter-Strike and you see the flashbang. All right, let me grab the other screen real quick. All right, so right now, if you've noticed this, our networks are flat. Like there's not subnets and everything built into it yet, but that is coming this month to Hack Smarter. When we create our machines, we'll be able to create full subnets and arrange everything that way. So here's kind of a preview of what our backend's going to look like when we create our networks. So you can see we have a workstation subnet and a server subnet, and then we'll be able to click up here and grab whatever machine we want to run, configure that machine into that subnet, whatever vulnerabilities you want. We can have, I think, up to 10 different machines. So we could have, 4 or 5 different subnets. So we could even set up double pivoting as well. So there we're adding the domain controller. We can set the the static IP there and go ahead and launch these machines. So we'll be able to have these different subnets. So then, like right now, the way I've done pivoting is kind of a ghetto workaround way of using host-based firewalls for pivoting. But this way we'll be able to do legit pivoting from subnet to subnet to make it a little more realistic, and even double pivoting. So it's going to be awesome, guys, for our upcoming networks. I'm excited for it. Let me go back to sharing the correct screen, and then we're going to dive back into the hacking for tonight. All right, we'll close this out. Click around the lab page. What's up, Jay Gold? Good to have you here. Hopefully you don't got any more coyotes in your backyard. Good to see you. All right. Shall we hack all the things? I think we shall. So for those of you who tuned in after we were done recording, in the first part of the live stream, we recorded part 1 of working through the Sysco machine. We did our in-map scan. We have a web server running on port 80, and we were able to do some user enumeration on the web server. What we haven't dived into yet are the directories on dir search. So that's how we'll begin part 2. If you guys have any questions, ask them now before I hit record. Best AD labs on Hack Smarter for AD beginners. That is a great question. Honestly, any of the easy rated machines are going to be really good practice and beginner friendly. So let me scroll here. So Building Magic is going to be a good one for you. Pivot Smarter isn't an Active Directory lab, but I recommend it because it gives you good practice on pivoting, which you'll run into, especially on like the OSEP. You'll need some pivoting skills. Arasaka, another excellent, easy-rated Active Directory lab. Welcome, excellent one for Active Directory. I think those would be the ones I recommend. We have some other Active Directory machines, so I think our next AD lab will be easy rated. And I have a friend of mine who's also a pen tester. He's currently working on making easy rated AD machines because I feel like we have a lot of good intermediate level ones, mediums and hards. We need more easy ones, more beginner friendly ones. So those are a couple of beginner friendly ones, but a lot more beginner friendly AD labs are coming very, very soon to the platform. So if I'm starting off today, which course should I take of yours? It depends on your experience level. If you're brand new to hacking, you should start with the Intro to Hacking Methodology. If you are like intermediate, I would do a hands-on phishing and Sliver C2, pen testing and evasion, and then make sure you're mixing your labs with it. Also, these are all very beginner friendly too, these Hack With Me's. Any good client-side based machine you recommend? Yeah. Pollution. Just pretend like I spelt pollution wrong on purpose, guys. Just pretend like there's wordplay there. Pollution is free, and it's a good client-side one. Static is another good one. Static is actually Static's a really cool one. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's actually AWS and web. So it's a web server that is hosted on AWS infrastructure, and you have to do both web hacking and AWS hacking to compromise it. I think you'll enjoy that. Hunter is another one. I also like OWASP Juice Shop, guys. If you haven't checked out Juice Shop, it's actually really, really, really cool. It's a full vulnerable app with all kinds of vulnerabilities, and it's hosted for you. So check out Juice Shop. Obviously, Hack Smarter didn't make it, but I had requests for it, and then I'm using a really small part of it in my web app course. But in my web app course, I recommend it as a sandbox to play in. So just know it's here. Spin it up, hack it. You know, I might be able to make it free. I have to look at the resource costs that Juice Shop costs on the hosting side, but if I can swing it, I'll try to make Juice Shop free for everyone. But we'll see. You can self-host Juice Shop for free as well, but this way it's hosted for you. Okay. Any other questions, y'all, before we dive back into the hacking? Whoops, wrong video. Wrong link. That was the old Sliver promo. I'm starting to sweat too, guys. Last Q, would you ever do an API focus lab? Absolutely. I want to make a whole course on API hacking. It wasn't a leak. That was an old video. It's back when I first released my Sliver C2 course. But yeah, I'll do some API focus labs very soon. That's actually a good idea because we don't have any API labs yet, and they would not be hard for me to make. It's just like a web server without the GUI. All right, there we go, guys. If we pop a shell, I'll take the next shirt off. Just kidding, I won't. Hacker OnlyFans. All right, let's start recording part 2 of Sysco for YouTube. Block Cuddy off. I'm out. Can you provide one-on-one consultant? Is there any way? No, there is not any way. Guys, I used to do one-on-one teaching for, like, I used to do one-on-one coaching for free or donate what you can. I quite literally am tapped out on time. I work on average like about 65, 70 hours a week. I'm not adding one-on-one meetings to that. I literally have no more time to give. Please pop a shell. Y'all are wild. I'm gonna tell my wife. All right, let's start recording for YouTube. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to part 2 of working through the Sysco machine on the Hack Smarter platform. Now, this is part 2, so if this is the first video you're watching, you may want to rewind and watch part 1. In part 1, we focused on enumeration, and here in part 2, we are going to continue our enumeration. You may also notice that there is chat on the screen. I make these videos while I live stream, and I live stream all the time. So as the YouTubers say, make sure you smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, hit that little bell thingy so that you're notified the next time I'm live. All that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the hacking for today. For those of you in the live stream, if you have questions about the lab that we are working on, feel free to ask. If you have a question unrelated to the lab, I will come back to it when we are done recording. All right, in part 1, real quick, we did our initial enumeration. We have some user enumeration, but that is about it. But when we were running our dir search, our directory brute forcing scan, we did find some interesting things, especially this script right here that might be interesting, and we have a round cube instance. So that's what I want to begin, is digging into these and seeing what we all have hanging out here. So let's just first head out to this. I'm going to copy that, go over to our web server right here, and let's see if this is actually anything. Oh, wow. It actually is. So if we were doing a pen test, this would definitely be a finding, at least as information disclosure. But in our case here, I'm just going to look over this quickly to see if it gives us anything that is useful. Does it actually match our IP? Oh, yeah, it does. So we see that MySQL is in use. We see some configurations and paths. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything on this. So if we found like LFI or file, if we can search different file paths, this might be useful. We have version information. Definitely a finding on a pen test, but in this case, I don't know if it's going to fully help us. But let's go ahead and grab a screenshot of this and add it to our notes. I'm just going to grab kind of a small snapshot of it. We'll just say information disclosure. Oh, that's awesome, Cybernopy. Congratulations. Make this much smaller, and we will left align it. So we have a little bit of information disclosure there. What are some of our other directories that we had? We have this round cube instance. We have a readme.txt. Whoops, I did not mean to click that. We have this readme.txt. No, not suggesting. Let's see what's on this readme.txt. See if there's anything interesting for us. Thanks for downloading this template. Template name, one page, author, bootstrap made. Okay, so that's not going to be helpful to us. We do have this round cube instance that may or may not be helpful. Round cube webmail. Guys, I got a fun story for you. I recently applied for a trademark for Hack Smarter because there's a fake Hack Smarter page. And what I did not realize is when you apply for a trademark, that information is public and you immediately become the target of various scammers trying to scam you out of your money. Well, one of the scammers called me. I asked them for their website. They gave me their website. It was a website that wasn't set up yet. And I may or may not have, not going to incriminate myself, I may or may not have just dug into their website a little bit and found that they were running a Roundcube webmail instance. And then they called me back again and I asked them if they could give me their login and password for the Roundcube webmail instance that they're running on the back end, and they hung up on me. That may or may not have happened. Anyways, this is a webmail instance. I don't know if we can see version information real easily. Sometimes you can see it in the page source. I don't know why Firefox doesn't have word wrap. If I just search for like version, not that version, not that version. Oh, we do have it right here. So if we look at our Roundcube set environment, we have Roundcube version. I don't know if this is 10.6 or 106.11. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to grab that and add it to our notes. Right, so we have the Roundcube version information there. I'm going to add a comment here. Whoops. That may or may not be helpful. But if we find, like, one thing to keep in mind is if we find credentials, we could try to log into the Roundcube instance. Let me go ahead and just Google this Roundcube version real quick. Okay, so that's 1.6.11, which looks like a, well, it doesn't, it shows missing that. I'm guessing it's 1.611, which looks like a relatively up-to-date version. Do we have a potential cross-site scripting? Okay, except, holy crap, that thing's annoying. Via the animate tag in an SVG document. Well, that's probably not going to be helpful for us. So I'll add that to our notes, but maybe we'll come back to it. Potentially vulnerable to XXS, and I'm going to grab a link to that CVE in case we come back to it. I think if I can highlight and add a link, and we'll add that. So potentially vulnerable to cross-site scripting, but probably not super helpful. Outside of that, there's really not a whole lot on this web server. And if we look at our ports here, we could do DNS, but I don't think that's going to be the way in or helpful. But another thing that we have running that's always worth digging into on an Active Directory machine is SMB. So I'm going to go ahead and make another S2 or H2, and I'm going to do SMB. And that's like what 135, 139, 445. And let's enumerate SMB. Now, when it comes to SMB enumeration, without credentials, there's only so much we can do. Mainly, we want to see, does it allow anonymous access to SMB? And if it does, can we retrieve any information from that? So let me go back over to my terminal. You know what I realized? We never checked vhost. Anything come up there? No, vhost completed and nothing came up. So I like to use netexec for SMB enumeration. So I'm going to use netexec SMB, and this is cisco.local. We can try like a blank username and a blank password and just see if we can read shares. And, oh, interesting. We get initial access, but then we get status access denied on listing shares. I doubt we can just dump users then, but let's try it. YOLO. No, we can't do that. Let's try using guest with the blank password, and account is disabled. All right. So let's add this to our notes. So I'm going to grab this, and we actually don't need this code block here. Can I delete? Yes. So I'm going to say anonymous access is allowed, but we cannot list shares or users. And let's drop a code block in there showing that we attempted to do. We'll say the guest account is disabled. And let's grab that from our notes as well. So we can see account disabled, which is good security. We can try to do what's called RID brute forcing, but I think without access, that's not going to work. But let's go ahead and try it. I don't remember the syntax for netexec. So look at that. I looked it up before. So we can try blank and then try RID brute, which can use a technique to dump users. But if we can't list shares, I don't think we're going to be able to do RID brute. Yep, and we're not. It says a process requested access to an object but has not been granted those access rights. So we'll add that to our notes as well, that we cannot do RID brute forcing. Go to my notes. We'll drop that information in there. But we do have some information. Remember, we have some potential users right here. And we might be able to do something with them with Active Directory. I'll show you actually a really cool resource for Active Directory hacking if you haven't seen it before. It is the Orange Active Directory Cybermap. Not Cybermap, I meant Mind Map, but Cybermap works as well. Okay, let's click into the 2025 one. Now, this just shows you, this is amazing if you've never seen it. All right, just look for Orange Cyber Defense Mind Map. But it gives you a bunch of different ways to attack an Active Directory network. So we're beginning right now with no credentials, right? So we can even walk through this. Scanning the network, we've already done that. We don't see any vulnerable host. Find the domain controller IP. This is much more useful if you're on a real internal pen test. We only have one host in scope, and we know it's the domain controller, so we don't have to do that. We could try a zone transfer. That's what I was talking about on attacking DNS, but I don't think that's going to be the way in. Maybe we'll come back to it. We have anonymous and guest access and SMB shares. That's exactly what we just tried to do to see if we could access SMB with anonymous and guest. So I already showed you that. We could try to enumerate LDAP. That might be worth it. Here, we can try this nmap script. Let's give this a shot and see if it actually does anything for us. So we'll grab our DC IP. I should just be able to do Sysco.local. And while that does its thing, let's look at this a little more. So here you can already see what I attempted to do was enumerating users with SMB, but you saw that that failed. We tried RID brute, but that also failed. Here's what I think might be a good thing for us to do, right? We have some, hey, peace out, Thicolo. We have some potential usernames that we found on the website. And with Kerbrute, we can do username enumeration against the domain controller if we have a user list. Now, we just have first name and last name, but with that, we can use a tool, I think it's called Username Anarchy, that will create a combination of potential usernames with those first names and last names. And I think that might be a good next step. Okay, we're not going to do nmap. I think this is going to be what makes the most sense. So let's go ahead and dive over to our notes. And I'm going to do another maybe H2, and we'll say user enumeration. On AD. And I'm going to go ahead and grab that list of users that we have up here. And let's dig into username anarchy and see if we can at least find some valid users in the AD environment. Now, I don't remember how to use username anarchy, so let's find out together. All right, so tools for generating usernames when pen testing. Usernames are half the password brute force problem. It is correct. So we give it a list of names, can be space, CSV, or tab delimited. Defaults are first, last name. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and grab this down. Oh, we actually have a binary I think we can download. Oh, it's source code. Can we, are there any binaries for username anarchy, or should we compile it? Surely there's a Python script version of it, right? Let's see how my Google skills are. Otherwise, we'll dig into username anarchy. All right. Other people were like, hey, we could do this with Python. It's not perfect. Feel free to modify it. This might actually work just fine. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Thicolo. Like, I don't feel like compiling it in Ruby or whatever it was. Generates various combinations of special usernames from a list of first and last names. All right, we got 4 years ago with 2 stars. We got, hey, last year with 24 stars. We're doing pretty good. I think I might have a script in my own GitHub that does this. Geez, I don't know if I do, but for some reason I'm thinking that I made a script for this at some point of time. Okay. I might be like ChatGPT right now and hallucinating. I don't have a script for it. Okay, that's fine. I thought I did for some reason. Let's grab this one. Whoever WattX is, shout out to you if this actually works. Let me look at the Python script so I don't install a crypto miner. All right, yeah, we're not importing OS or anything like that. We're literally just importing CSV and an argument parser. So, yeah, this script's not malicious. We should be fine pulling it down. All right, let's go ahead and just run it. And it works. So we need a CSV file. Like so. I mean, I can do that. Let's grab our users and save it this directory, and we'll do nano users.txt, and all we have to do is add commas in here, so not that big of a deal. All right, now let's go ahead and do Python 3 AD generator, and we're going to pass it our users.txt. It has all the main ones. Do we have like G Shield? Yes, we do. Okay. We have, it looks like it has all the main usernames. I could have piped that out to a file, but we'll just grab it here. And I'm going to CD back. We'll do nano ad users.txt. I'm going to paste that in there. And then, oh, I was thinking KerbRoot is installed on Kali by default, but it would appear it is not. Let's go ahead and get KerbRoot. How am I doing on time? 16 minutes. Beautiful. We can keep going. What's up, Bruja? Let's go ahead and grab the binary for KerbRoot. We want to do AMD 64, at least I do, for Linux. So we'll download the KerbRoot binary. I'm going to CP it from downloads to here, and then I'm going to move it and just call it KerbRoot, and I'm going to go ahead and make it executable. And if we do H, there we go. We have KerbRoot here. And so what are our available commands? We do not want to brute force a username password combo. We want to brute force we don't want to brute force a single user either. We want to do user enum. Here we go. Enumerate valid domain users via Kerberos. So let's go ahead and try that. I assume, let's do H on that. So then we do KerbRoot user enum. We can pass it some flags, and then we want to give it our username word list. And then we can also pass it our full domain to use. So I'm going to do -d Sysco.local, and then ad users.txt is our word list. Now we cross our fingers, we hit enter on our keyboard, and we see, do we have any valid users that we are able to find from our ad users.txt word list? Okay, so we're just airing out on that part of it. I think, what if I do just the IP? Well, here, what's DC right here? So let's actually pass it the same command that we ran. Do Sysco.local, but then we're going to give it our domain controller IP, which is going to come from our lab page, like so. User enum domain Sysco.local, pass it our domain controller IP, and hit enter. In a real engagement, oh, look at that. In a real engagement, Heffy, almost every internal pen test you do, they'll give you low-level creds, and then you can just dump usernames with netexec. But yeah, otherwise, if you're looking for username enumeration, you can use KerbRoot. But hey, we now have 3 valid Active Directory users. That was pretty cool. Let me go ahead and grab this and drop it into our notes, showing that it works successfully. And we'll do H3. Valid AD users that we found. We have Greg.Shields, Jack.Dolan, and Laney.Moore at Sysco.local. And this is a very good natural stopping point for the end of part 2 of working through the Sysco machine. So, hey, if you're following along, you should take it from here. If you don't have a sub to Hack Smarter, what are you doing with your life? Make sure you sub to Hack Smarter, boot up the Sysco machine. We've done a lot of hacking together, and we finally have 3 valid users in the Active Directory environment. I also showed you that orange cyber defense mind map for hacking Active Directory. And if you look at that mind map, you'll be able to see a section that says, hey, when you have a user, here are some things to try, and that's what I want you to try on your own. So give it a shot, see if you can get initial access to the AD environment using the usernames that we discovered. If you get stuck, that's totally fine. Join me in part 3, and we'll continue working through this together. But hey, thank you for watching. Until next time, hack smarter, not harder. I will catch you in the next one. Boom. Oh, nice, Nicolo. You should definitely throw that up on GitHub. Guys, don't leave yet. Those of you in the live stream, we're not done live streaming, although we might be almost done live streaming. Yeah, I've been on for like 2 hours. I don't think we're going to record a part 3 tonight, but we'll record a part 3 very soon. Maybe tomorrow night. We'll see if I feel like streaming again. Let me grab this video and drop it into the right spot on my host machine so it's ready to be uploaded. Sysco part 2. How many are you doing today? We've already done 2, and I've been streaming for 2 hours. Oh, Wenchen got initial access. Round of applause, my friend. Absolutely excellent job. Don't tell us how you did it, though. Don't spoil it for others, but great work. If you guys have any questions, I'll answer those quick before we find somebody to raid over on Twitch. Sorry to ask so many questions. First, never apologize for asking a lot of questions. That's a big reason to what I'm here for. I want to serve you. I want to answer your questions. How many machines are typical in an engagement, like 50 plus? In an internal engagement, yes. You could have 100. You could even have 1,000 machines based on the organization size. Same with an external network pen test. You're looking at, I mean, depending on the size, it could be just a few IPs. It could be 100 IPs. It could be more. That's where Nessus is really handy because Nessus allows you to do kind of low-hanging bug scanning at scale, and it shows you what targets you should really focus in on. I want to come out with a course, guys. I was trying to figure out how to do this that teaches how to approach an engagement where you have an overwhelming amount of machines to work with. And so hopefully soon I'll come out with a full course or at least a mini course on doing like an external network pen test. And when you have 50 hosts, how to use things like Nessus and Go Witness and and nuclei, things of that nature to help you understand how to manage that many hosts. Hacker exploit, it really comes down to muscle memory or mind memory. I guess it's not muscles because it's just keyboards, but the more machines that you do, the more that you begin to recognize various patterns and weaknesses in Active Directory, Windows, Linux. But the only way to get to that point is you just keep on doing machines. You keep solving machines. You keep working through things. Exploit Forge, we can chat. No, I don't really use Twitter. Exploit Forge, shoot me an email. Do you use RustScan in real engagements? I've been wondering as the amount of traffic it causes. I do not use RustScan. I don't even use Nmap often in real engagements. I have a professional licensed in Nessus. Nessus is like Nmap on steroids. So when I'm doing a real engagement, like a real internal or external pen test, I'm using Nessus. And Nessus is doing a full port scan and a full vulnerability scan. And then actually you can pull out all of the open ports and hosts out of the Nessus database file. Cybernope, you think the exposure? Yes, absolutely. IT support is an incredible place to start. It will definitely help you move towards offensive later or SOC. Honestly, any IT experience is going to help with both offensive and SOC. It seems to work. No interaction mode, though. That's awesome, though, dude. Thekola, throw it on GitHub. Let's replace the freaking username Anarchy Ruby version. Are you still using Responder? Yes, you use Responder on pentests. Hey, I think most of you are probably on YouTube. Let me check. Yeah, the vast majority of you are on YouTube. So for all of you YouTube people, you should come and join Twitch just so you can be part of the raid. To raid someone means we take all of our viewers and we send them to another streamer to show some love and support. Hey, Heffy, that would mean the world to me, honestly. Guys, you probably know this, but if you're new, I am building Hack Smarter from the ground up. I have no outside funding. I don't want any outside funding. I have no outside investors. The only outside investor is my personal checking account. So I really am building Hack Smarter from the ground up. And your support means the world to me. Like Hack the Box, whether you sub or not to Hack the Box is not going to make or break Hack the Box. They're massive. They have $55 million plus from outside funding. Whether you sub or not to Hack Smarter is going to make or break Hack Smarter. So if you have the financial means and you enjoy what you are seeing, like your support really does mean the world to me. So I do appreciate that. Do we have a raid message? Our raid message is going to be Hack Smarter, not harder, once we get to that. If the goal is to move into a cyber role, is there any difference between starting a help desk role versus a desktop support role? No. Just get into IT. That's your goal. Get into IT. Don't care about the role. Get into IT. Get some experience working with end users. Get some experience with basic AD and things of that nature. I got web rooms. Unfortunately, no. You don't need a Twitch account to watch on Twitch. I also don't think you need a Twitch account to be part of the raid. That's awesome, BSD Bandit. Love it. All right, let's go ahead and see who is streaming. Now, if you like these kind of hacking streams, there is a website that will tell you if there's anyone else streaming. It's called infosecstreams.com, and you can see BlazeBits is streaming. He's an amazing person, red teamer, genuinely nice human being. So let's go ahead and raid BlazeBits. Give me a moment to get it set up. And Cybernope, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate you. You are the most real Cybernope I have ever met. But no, thank you. What's up, Zane? I'm so sorry, Zane, but you are joining at the very tail end of the stream. We've been live for about 2 hours now. You missed out on the fun, but you can watch it after the fact on YouTube. You missed out on the fun, but you can watch. Let's turn off the audio so you guys don't hear me talking. All right, let me set this raid up over on Twitch. Hey, when we raid BlazeBits, make sure everyone spams in chat. Our raid message is hack smarter, not harder. And hey, until next time, which hopefully will be very soon, maybe tomorrow night, maybe tomorrow night, maybe Monday night, we'll jump back on, do some live hacking. But thank you guys seriously so much for taking the time to hang out with me on your Saturday night. Let's go show some love to BlazeBits. Hack smarter, not